imagine. Yeah, I would imagine if I'm sure the directors and the producers of the show and the writers got a ton of opportunities after that, unlike the actors, for sure. Um, and
Although Julia,
oh my God, unbelievable with Julia. I mean, talk about just so talented. I mean, she's on like her fourth incredible character, and she's done more than that. But I mean, especially just she's unbelievable. Definitely.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And with my daughter, I just watched Black Widow the other night.
I have yet to see it, but people in the Seinfeld Fanatics group are posting about it constantly. So I definitely want to see it. Um,
Yeah, it's totally inappropriate. It's lewd, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
almost too much to bear. I'll have to watch it. So okay, so let
But
me ask.
but yes, yes, I am mostly known as the Seinfeld music guy. It's my allure, my twinkle.
Oh man, listen, we got to get Jackie Childs on the phone. All right. So
Yeah, there's not a lot of music scenes with Jackie Childs, so my record does not show enough of him. I think, although in the finale, uh,
when he's in bed
which
with
yeah, the end of it was this piece of music. While they're waiting for the verdict, Mr. Ross goes and buys a gun, and we find that Jackie and Terry Hatcher's character
yep.
are in bed together, and it ends with that. Uh, the finale did not get universally warm reviews. There was mixed feelings about it, and that's okay. It was a tough assignment, but one thing I think everybody agreed on was that it was fun to see all of those guest cast back again.
And
And
I just got the goosebumps as you said that, because when you think about it, I think as the years have gone by, I have truly began to appreciate it for maybe what it is. So I was one of the critics as well of the finale, but I agree, there's no other way they would have ever been able to tie in a story where they could get all those characters. That
yeah,
was
and
there's no other way. So, and it's great because after all these years, finally they're held accountable. It's like
yeah, exactly. If there is joy in Mudville, it's joy of all these secondary characters who are just so happy to grab their suitcases and run off to this trial and watch these guys finally pay for their sins. So when that montage came up,
yeah.
I decided I'm going to be silly and fun and happy and ecstatic and joyful like these characters are, because like Newman, finally his dream is coming true. So that was my thought process when I created that montage music for the finale.
Now, when it comes to like those two pieces of music that you played, which were brilliant, brilliant, for the finale. I mean, all your music obviously brilliant, but when we're talking about something like the finale, now you just have carte blanche to do whatever you want with the music, or are you going and having to do rewrites because you're like, nope, that's not it, go back, nope, that's not it, go back.
By this point, season 9, people pretty much gave me a wide berth. After a few years, when the writers and producers kind of figured out that they could let me throw in with the comedy, and they developed comedic tropes that required music, like the chase scenes and the fictitious productions that they knew were going to be all about the music, they pretty much let me do my thing. Now, obviously, I reported into people. I reported into usually the line of questioning would go, if I had an idea for something, I'd go to the writer of the episode and I'd say, how about this? This is what I'm thinking here. And if we weren't sure, then I'd go to one of the execs, Jerry or Larry Charles. And that was how it worked. Very rarely did anyone ever give me notes saying, no, 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 that's all wrong. And people were busy. It was busy. This was a very busy show. People were already working on the next episode and the next one after that by the time the music got to me, by the time the episode got to me to create music for it. So most people's focus was already on something else, and they, for the most part, let me do my thing. And in truth, those kind of producers and directors were the clients who got my best work. When the weight of the approval process was all on me because nobody signed off on it. It's all on me. So I would really pay extra attention. And sometimes if I wasn't quite certain of the approach, if I had in my head, ooh, I'd really like to approach this scene this way, or I could do it the other way, I would usually find time to do it both ways. And either I would decide in advance which way worked, or I would just bring it to the mix. Let Jerry or Larry decide.
Wow. Yeah. And you know, like I said, I can't remember a show, whether if it was a drama, a comedy, a sitcom, where the music played such an intricate part. It truly was a fifth main character.
I'm hearing from a lot of people who are enjoying the Seinfeld original soundtrack album, going through it track by track by track and going, wow, that's right. I remember this scene. I remember the music from this scene, but it until you hear it all together, it's hard to imagine that this is a collection of Seinfeld's favorite scenes on this record. I mean, here's one. Feel the beat. You are a lover boy. Lover boy. You are a lover boy. I'm hoping, Rob, that Seinfeld Fanatics will use this track to create their own videos of their own underwear photo shoots.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know what?
There's a lot of that kind of stuff. For example, you mentioned something that I should probably correct. There is one piece of music on this entire album that I did not create. George's answering machine.
I must be out or I pick up the phone. Where could I be?
That's it.
Or not, I'm not home.
The reason I put that on the album is because I wanted Seinfeld fanatic followers to be able to create their own voicemail recordings using my instrumental tracks of the Greatest American Hero theme. I did not write that theme, but I created the track. So the lawyers made a deal with the Greatest American Hero people so we could include those tracks on there just for fun as a bonus track for that purpose. You can make up your own words. You can make up your own words to Scarsdale's Surprise if you want. There's a fake theme for a fake Broadway musical with fake producers at a fake award show. Fake.
Fake.
Yeah, the Summer of George episode is the closest. Yeah, that's the closest that Broadway melody is ever going to get to the real Tony Awards.
So let me ask you something, okay?
Sure.
Were you doing the sound in I don't know if you call it composition or what it is, but you had mentioned all the fake movies like Death Blow?
Yeah. That's me.
So we need to get,
in fact, on the album, just because that was an ongoing trope, fictitious productions.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of them, including a bunch of movies. So I would create serious movie music for these movies like Checkmate and Channel, Death
Yep.
Blow.
Yep. Although we never got to hear music for Sack Lunch.
That is true. If the movie was not playing in a theater in a scene, that was not my job. But for a lot of these movies, they were heard but not seen.
Yes.
So I was the one in charge of whatever that movie was supposed to sound like. And in Puerto Rican Day Parade, we all went to see Blimp. And there's the moment where George shouts out, "That's gotta hurt." So yeah, those were kind of fun. There were a lot of fictitious production. Oh, there a couple of them made it onto a couple others. Like here, this was totally a fake TV series.
And then at the end, they all cheers.
Yeah, the Jerry Show.
Yep.
When we were doing that whole pilot arc, I ran into Larry Charles in the hallway and I asked him, I hear that there's going to be a main title for this that they watch on TV. What are you thinking for the theme? How do you want to play this? And he goes, "Oh, this is stupid, silly, generic, happy sitcom." You got the right guy for that, because it's like I think he said it's the exact opposite of the Seinfeld music, which is cool and hip and subtle. And this is not. This is any show on Friday night by Miller Boyett. So that was how I did that one.
TGI Friday, you're referring to, right? TGIF.
Yeah, those guys did a lot of those.
Yep.
Yeah, Friday night shows, and they all kind of sounded the same. Nothing but respect for those music guys. They had a formula. It worked. It's a touchstone for a lot of people of a certain age, that their Friday nights, that was the soundtrack of their lives. It was just kind of dated at this point. So that was how I came up with the Jerry Show theme.
Now, I have a question for you. And
sure.
It has literally bothered me since probably 1993. And I'm wondering if anyone's ever asked you about this before. So when George rents the movie Home Alone.
Yes.
Has anyone asked you about this before? So
I don't think so, but I appreciate you noticing my maudlin sappy _ music for Home Alone on TV. No wonder George is crying.
So George is at Jerry's apartment and he's watching it alone because Jerry's out, right? And it clips and it shoots back to like a 5-second clip of George watching Home Alone. And all you hear is the background music to it. And to anyone that grew up on Home Alone, such as myself, the second you hear that, you say, "That's not Home Alone." So
that's right.
So now I don't even know if you're privy to this, but could they not get the rights to play Home Alone? Did they want to almost spoof the idea that he's watching Home Alone? Like, talk to me about this. Is there anything you can tell me?
My guess is that the music, except for you, most people could not sing the music, the theme music, or the inspirational themes from Home Alone. So to spend money on a license for a piece of music that's not that identifiable didn't make sense. They just let me do it.
Yeah.
If I do it, it costs them nothing because I'm on staff. Yeah. So, I created it, and instead of Home Alone, I think I may have called it Whole Amone. I don't know. It awesome. Clearly was not important enough to me to make it onto the Seinfeld original soundtrack album. Yeah. But that was a little fun moment in the Junior Mint.
Oh man, yes.
Speaking of
Yep.
the junior, there was that moment, the slow mo moment in
Of
the
course.
surgery gallery of the slow mo flying dropping Junior Mint. That was kind of a cause celeb, that little moment. So the Seinfeld post audio team presented a number of sound concepts for it, including me. I doubted it was. I never thought it should be a music moment, but I did create a few and submitted a few musical and music effect options to underscore the moment, if for no other reason to help the execs there really be sure that they were making the correct choice. So I gave them bad options, suspense, danger, comedy, like a descending cartoon Acme piano or anvil fall. At the mix, Larry, of course, went with sound effects of the heartbeat
A heart
and then
beating, exactly. I was just
and
gonna
then a
say,
splish.
I'm picturing the moment, and it was a heart beating.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
another wise choice, LD. Let the moment speak for itself. So
Yeah.
uh, that was a case where I did create some music that wasn't used, and I that was the correct call to not use
Wow.
music there.
Yeah.
But it's my job to give them options.
That's great. That's
I
great.
only thought of that because you mentioned that silly little Home Alone scene, which I love that you asked. What else you got? Keep them coming.
Listen,
This is good.
I have so many. It's not even funny. So
Ask me any boy.
when you
Some of these
started,
questions I wouldn't answer if they were deep fried chocolate sauce.
broccoli Newman. So when you started Seinfeld, you had mentioned that just like you had kind of had your hand in a lot of things, right? You're doing this, you're doing that. Now, as Seinfeld went on, obviously it grew and grew because the season one ratings weren't great. Season two, they improved a little bit. And then finally it was a slow kind of climb, right? Now, as the show got bigger, did it demand more of your time and force you to not work on as many projects, or did you in season 6 and 7 still have your hand in numerous things?
People don't turn down money. It's what separates us from the animals.
I knew exactly where you were going.
People kept wanting to hire me, and sometimes I'd think, I got 12 shows on the air. Do you really want to be number 13 on my roster? Okay. So yes, I hoarded shows. I did a lot of work after that. One little tiny bit of good news, as far as my scheduling and sleep, was that we stopped doing the monologues.
I know, I know,
So that
and
was a couple hours that I no longer had to allocate to this particular show. Instead of that, they went to more and more
walking.
musical demands. Like all those pastiche scenes. It was a comedy trope that we did a lot of pastiche movie stuff. So I created music for those, like um, in the chicken roaster. Elaine goes and searches out Jay Peterman in a cave in the jungles, the Burmese jungles.
Yep, to get his signature.
Yeah, to get his signature, and it's reminds us, it's evocative. It was so surreal that I created this odd soundscape for it to just kind of take us, the audience, and the actors and everything, just into a different universe. So things like that came up, and the in the Cadillac Part Two, where the disgraced, impeached
Oh,
president leaves his home in Del Vista Boca,
Bel,
Del
Bel,
Boca Vista,
there you go.
with regal, quiet dignity, and it was kind of a spoof Let me see if I can find that here. It's on the album for sure. I was really proud of how this worked. Here it is. And I treated it as if it was a serious cinematic moment, which kind of counterplayed against the silliness of what was on screen. And I knew that it was going to be a long piece of music if I let it build over time and take us outside to the walk, to the Cadillac. Morty holds his head high, proud, even in the face of defeat.
Now,
so there were more assignments like that as the show went on, where I was called upon to do eclectic music, and it made my job fun. You know, then there were gags. Also, this one was a gag.
Jesus is one, Jesus is all. Jesus lift me up when I fall.
You know, that song that Elaine was very surprised to hear coming out of Putty's car radio.
Yep.
I wrote that song. The singer, by the way, is my longtime stalwart music editor, Jack Diamond. Everyone at my office wore multiple hats, and Jack was a world-class studio singer. So I had him. He sang a lot of my stuff on TV.
That is unbelievable.
That was kind of a funny moment. That was silly scripted music, kind of like the Jerry Show was. And remember when there was that scene in a lot of people when they're asked their favorite episode, they talk about the contest, which was a really brilliant episode. I was, really proud of that episode. And there's a scene where Jerry's watching cartoons on TV to maintain innocent thoughts while the woman across the street was naked. And at some point, he started singing along with the cartoon. Remember the melody? Wheels on the bus go round and round. And then Kramer makes up his own words about the naked woman across the street. So that was kind of a fun music assignment. I was happy to put it on the album because that scene is just a nice memory. That particular assignment was completely within my bag of tricks because in the early 80s, I used to be a cartoon music scorer for Hanna-Barbera.
Wow.
Did a lot of cartoons in my day.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun things. Oh, and yeah, boy, one of the most fun music episode assignments came from Carol Leifer. Carol wrote the Rye episode. It was important to her that John Germain was a world-class saxophonist, that he was just a great saxophonist. That was an important part of the character she wrote. So I recorded real jazz, obviously before John Germain added to his repertoire.
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable.
I want people to listen to that and remember why, at the end of the episode, he was unable to perform on his saxophone.
Oh, man. Listen, Jonathan, I feel like I could sit here all day with you and talk Seinfeld. Guys, the album is called the Seinfeld Original Music Soundtrack, and you can get it anywhere, right? iTunes, anywhere that you can buy digital music, it's there. And
correct. And if you just want to check it out, Water Tower Music, who's the record label, put them all up on YouTube just so you can check them out.
Wow. Unbelievable. And so usually like once a month or so, I do my Seinfeld Fanatic lives, and I go on and I do Seinfeld trivia and stuff like that, and the winners I'll give out free shirts and stuff. And the theme music in the background on low volume, but loud enough so you can hear it, is always that 6-hour video that's on YouTube of the Seinfeld theme. Have you come across that video before?
There are a bunch of them out there,
Oh
Rob.
my
There's
God.
one that's a 10-hour loop. I'm not sure who's doing this and who's listening to it. It's pretty weird. But
10 hours.
obviously, the original theme is on the record, as are the 2 special episode themes that I created for the clip shows, like this one. That one was for
100th episode, right?
No, that was for the Chronicle. Here's the one that was for the highlights of 100.
Yeah.
Groove's a little more swinging.
Now, Jonathan, before we wrap up, what's the one question that you get asked most by anyone? I would imagine what it is, but I don't want to plant that seed in your
The
head.
question I get most is, who told you to put the balm on?
I didn't tell you to put the balm on. So when you were talking about Jackie Childs not having any music, wasn't there a bass line in the end when you can see Kramer on the smoking ad, and he's like, this is the most embarrassing moment of my career, or something like that? Wasn't there a bass line playing then?
It could be that there was transition music or act out music or something
Yeah.
going on then, but I don't remember that I created special material
Gotcha.
for that
Yeah.
moment. But
Okay.
my memory, not what it used to be.
Your
Also,
memory-
my memory is not what it used to be. Yeah, another question I get a lot is, you saying you want a piece of me?
Oh man, that's great. That's great. Oh man. So any final thoughts? And I know Jonathan Wolff, that's Wolffee, is it?
My last name is Wolff, Wolff. And if you're unsure of it, you can
F.
see it at the end of every Seinfeld episode.
2 F's, that's right. Okay, so in SeinfeldMusicGuy.com, Seinfeld Music Guy for all social media. And I know before we went on, we were talking about Facebook. You're on Instagram. You said your Instagram could use some help. I know our Instagram.
Yeah.
Listen, our Seinfeld Fanatics Instagram can absolutely use some help. And one thing I think we have 3,000 followers, and there's no reason that should be when we have almost 80,000 in the Facebook group. But I think it's just because there's Facebook people and then there's Instagram people. And I know that sometimes there's a crossover and you could be both, but usually you have your one, then you have, so.
It is, as we spoke a bit before this started, and I agree with you that there's a generational tilt towards one or the other. I started on Instagram because my kids encouraged me to.
Yeah.
But
That's
this,
again where I saw the picture, the picture of you, Jerry, and Jason Alexander. That might have been where I saw the picture on your Instagram, I think.
could be, or maybe when you were in the Smithsonian Institute or at the Louvre,
Yeah, at the Louvre, exactly, right. Or in what's her name's paint studio painting the Kramer, I think.
Yes.
Hanging up right next there.
I'm a loathsome brute. Careful, I can do this all day.
Jonathan, it was a pleasure having you on, and
This has been a super terrific happy hour. You must go now.
Listen, I would have brought you some oranges. I totally forgot, though. I'm sorry, but there are a set of Carl Fargman drawers on the way to your apartment right now. So enjoy.
Thank you. And thanks for having me on, Rob. And to all of those Seinfeld fanatics, boy, thank you for all of your good wishes. I get your messages and I respond if I can.
Thank you. Thank you again, Jonathan. And guys, don't forget Seinfeld original music soundtrack right now available on iTunes, anywhere you can buy music, and check it out on YouTube. All the tracks are up there. Jonathan, incredible work, and thank you for your time.
All signs point to yes.
Oh, perfect. Jonathan, great job, man. Thank you so much. You were great. You were incredible. So our plan, as long as everything goes well, is to upload this tomorrow night to the Seinfeld Fanatic page. So expect to get tagged. And it's gonna be great. And I don't know, I might maybe break it up into a couple parts, watch part 1 tonight, because 60 minutes is a long time to watch. So I don't know, I'll see what the girls think, but it was phenomenal. Every minute's going to get used, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And as I said before, you know what you're doing. If you need to cut out stuff where I was just stupid, fine.
Oh, unbelievable.
Do whatever you want to do to it. I completely trust your judgment on it, and I appreciate that you allowed me to shamelessly plug the record, because that's my obligation to Water Tower Music, is that I try to make sure that Seinfeld people get the word about it. And your followers are exactly who we want to get the word out to.
Well, thank you so much. Listen, every time you play a piece of music from there, I know for me, it's instant nostalgia. Your music, I was truly raised on your music, and I continue to live with your music. I mean, I don't have to tell you, the power of music is unbelievable. And you have managed to create these moments that will just be here for much longer than we all are.
I'm disturbed. I'm depressed. I'm inadequate.
I got it all.
I've got it all.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
All right. Good talking to you, Rob. Reach out anytime.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.